Hi, welcome back to Christine's Health Affairs. I am having such a fun week. It's been incredible. For those that have been following this channel for the past few months, I have breast cancer and I was diagnosed back in February. It's July now. And this is, I think, probably the 5th week without chemo, and I just feel alive. It's incredible. So I'm just going to give you a really quick update. I'm having fun with hats. I'm being a little bit silly, trying some different things, wrapping some fabric around my head, pretending I'm a pirate, and all sorts of things. So I'm really happy at the moment. I'm full of beans. In fact, this is the 3rd video I've done today, and it's not even nap time yet. So I've got so much more energy. I thought I'd bring you to my sewing room for a change. Chris is outside doing some videos. We don't have any trips to Melbourne. This is the first week this year where we've not had to go to Melbourne at all, and hopefully next week as well, except that I have surgery at the end of the week. But yeah, no trips to Melbourne, so we get to stay at home and play. How am I going? I think I just told you I'm doing really, really well. I did have some news though, and I thought I would talk to you about some of the effects that chemo has had on my body or on my life, I guess. In particular, my skin and my nails, and I'm going to show you in close up in a minute. But something that I've noticed, and I did know this because when you have chemo, it ruins your ability or your body's ability to repair itself. So when you get a scratch that might heal in a week or so or a few days, my scratches have been around for the past 4 months. So back when chemo started, Coco, our beautiful dog, she gets really excited, and it's our fault. We excite her all the time, so she jumps and scratches all the time. So what she did was she would scratch me, and just on the hand, and I'm not sure if you can see it just yet. I'll show you in a moment. But on my hand here, I had a couple of scratches, and this was like 4 months ago, and I still have really dark scarring from it. In fact, the healing of the skin probably only happened about a month ago. And even on my arms, there were scratches from her jumping on me, and fingernails and toenails. Well, actually, I don't look at my toenails because they're too far away. I haven't lost them yet, and I don't know if I will, and I certainly haven't lost my fingernails yet, and I do know other people do. I was talking to a lady today that actually lost all of her toenails. So I'm going to show you my fingernails now. Let's have a look. So hopefully I can zoom in well enough and show you my nails. You can see the redness along here. It's probably more pronounced right there. And that's my chemo journey from the beginning of treatment up until I finished the paclitaxel, which was probably about the 9th week. And I mean, it doesn't hurt or anything. I do worry that my nails are going to fall off. I've never had nails this long before either. They're usually very brittle and break easily. So yeah, they've gone very red at this section, but then there are a couple of ridges that you can see, and I'm not sure that you can, but I've got one line going across here, then another line across here, and then I've got all that redness along here. And I reckon that these 2 lines here are when I had the doxorubicin. You could really see them. They're very pronounced there, almost a purplish colour or a bluish colour. Very interesting watching my nails grow like this. And, you know, this is what I was talking about with my hands. Coco, she comes and jumps up on me in the mornings when she wakes up, so I usually get lots of scratches and things like that, and I've tried to be careful over the past few months to avoid that. But yeah, it's really hard to try and do videos when you're showing your hands all the time and you have these ugly marks on them. Not much I can do about that though, and if that's the only problem that I have, I should count my lucky stars, right? So it's interesting that chemo has done that to my nails and my skin as well. And I was fascinated looking at my nails the other day when I could actually see the ridges from the different chemo treatments, or that's what I'm attributing it to, because you've got the redness at the top end and then a couple of little moons which were, I reckon, from the doxorubicin treatments that I'd had. And it's funny because I can actually see them when I'm doing videos now. I can actually see the redness in my fingers, and I'm sure it looks like I've got nail polish half peeled off. But if that's my biggest problem at the moment, I think I'm doing pretty well. We got a phone call from the oncologist the other day, last Friday actually. And remember, I was in hospital a couple of weeks ago because I had had what I was told was adrenal failure at the time. So we had thought, and I'd had lots of tests, but we were still waiting for results to come back. And I had no cortisol in my body at all, and that's why I was so fatigued at that time, and then ended up with me being in hospital for 4 days. So the most likely scenario at the time was that I had adrenal failure. Turns out, I did have a secondary adrenal failure or a secondary adrenal crisis, something termed like that. My adrenal glands weren't producing cortisol. One of the thoughts was that it could have been the pituitary gland causing it, and it was hoped at the time that it wouldn't be that, because with the adrenal glands you can have a CT scan. With the pituitary glands, you've got to have an MRI. And when I was told about that a couple of weeks ago, I already went into panic mode, hoping that I wouldn't have to do that. Got a phone call from the oncologist. She'd got all the reports back, and I have to have an MRI. My adrenal glands weren't the ones that had let me down. It was actually my pituitary gland. It's pretty certain that it was the immunotherapy that has caused this, and probably the problems with my heart palpitations previously. And so, yeah, the pituitary gland, I don't have a tumour, and I'm not worried that I do have a tumour either, but they need to do an MRI to rule that out. And from what I've read and learnt so far, immunotherapy, it can cause some kind of inflammation or something like that with your pituitary gland. It's functioning normally for everything else that it's supposed to do, but the message from there to my adrenal glands, it's not sending the message about the cortisol, and therefore my adrenal glands aren't producing the cortisol that my body requires. Doesn't affect my treatment at all. It just means that I now have to have an MRI. So when my oncologist phoned me, I was still in bed on Friday morning. Chris was out walking Coco, and she kept asking if Chris was around. So I was calling him because she knew I was going to melt down. And as soon as she told me that she had news, I said, I have to have an MRI, don't I? And she said yes. So I started bawling my eyes out straight away. Chris came down. She wanted to talk while Chris was there because she knew I was practically hyperventilating. Anyway, we're going to organise an MRI. I will be fully sedated for that, so I won't know what's happening. And it may be a couple of months down the track before I can have it because of the procedure that they have to go through for me to be knocked out to have an MRI. I won't be having my eyes open. I won't be aware of it at all. She did actually talk to my breast surgeon, who I'm having the surgery Friday week, which will be on the 18th. She's going to see if she can maybe get me in on the same day that I'm having my surgery, if there's the availability at the time for me to have the MRI whilst I'm already sedated, then that will be fantastic. So she's going to look into it and see if that can be done. If not, it'll be done in another month or so. I really didn't want to hold off my breast surgery because it's already been 5 weeks since I've had chemo, and I don't want this tumour to grow any further. So I want to rip that sucker out, have all the reconstructive surgery and everything done, and then I'm ready for radiation afterward. If there is still any residual cancer, I'll be having chemo tablets. We did speak to the oncologist about removing the port, so the surgeon's going to remove that at the same time we have surgery, because we did say that we're not happy with doing immunotherapy anymore. So I won't be doing any more immunotherapy ever. She agreed. She said that she would have made the same choice as well if she were in my shoes. So the port's going, no more immunotherapy, possibly chemo tablets. I'm not fussed about that. That's only if they find residual cancer. So I don't know if I'll give you an update before I go and have surgery next week. It's only 9 days away, 7 days away. I don't know. I can't count. Anyway, I'm going to go back and have a little bit more fun, making up some more bags and stock for the shop and creating some more videos. So cancer's tough, but we're tougher, getting over this journey, and I shall see you next time. Bye for now.